Alrighty. Speaking of TV, what kind of things do they show on the television?
They showed a lot of things. I was born about a year or so before Alan Shepard first went into space. So I missed both the Gemini and the Mercury programs. Those were the one-man and the two-man operations. I really started watching it in the Apollo program. They didn't televise anything, and I kind of remember them doing news broadcasts about the Apollo 1 fire. And I remember watching the launch for Apollo 9, I think it was. That was like one of the first where they actually just kind of circled the moon. They hadn't actually landed it. I really remember hurriedly trying to get to my aunt and uncle's house because we were all going to watch the first walk on the moon, and I think we barely made it. We got to their house like about 5-10 minutes before they actually landed on the moon. I remember the Apollo 13 problems. I think my parents were probably trying to keep us away from feeling really anxious, so I don't remember us watching too much of that one. But I remember even at school they would wheel out the big TV, and we would watch all the spacewalks or all the moonwalks from Apollo 14, 15, and 16. Did they make it to 17? I don't remember, but I do remember spending my lunch hours watching the things on TV. Later on, I remember watching the space shuttle not landings, but the original space shuttle. It was called the Enterprise, named the Star Trek people made them do it. It was only a mock-up, and they just wanted to see if it would be able to be attached to a Boeing 747 and fly, because they had to move it from California to Florida every time they wanted to launch it. So they made this. They never flew it up into space, but it was called the Enterprise. I remember watching that. I was unfortunately at work, or maybe fortunately at work, when the Challenger disaster happened, so I just heard that on the radio, but that was televised. So there was lots of things that was televised a lot.